Hey guys, Boris here, bringing you another VOD review. Today we'll be jumping in game with Dishsoap, playing in some international scrims with Bentham, Summertimer and YBY1 from the APAC, Double 61 from the EMEA, some very familiar household names in the TFT competitive scene. We are playing in a Scala encounter, therefore we can expect some very high cap boards and definitely in time for an exciting game. Starting out with a Scion drop that is going to, with the road already, going to be considering playing on some kind of LeBlanc opener, perhaps playing into some Invoker, ideally maybe some Rise board if we can get to it. Now we also have a Briar in the shop, I would imagine we're going to be holding on to that. Also the Jarvan pair could consider playing around some Demacia, something that can hype high if you're able to go to the level 9 and drop down to like even 5 or 3 Demacia. Now, we are also picking up a Caitlyn to form Unlock an Orianna, most likely going to be looking to make 10 here, as we have quite clear direction already established with a tier and a rod. Going to probably try to look for a slam, going to slam a teal already on Scion, and do not want to make Archangels here, right? No. I would assume we would have wanted to slam the JG here to unlock the LeBlanc, however did not manage to get in time as the loot orb was on the last mob. Coming up on our Augment selection, we are with the Prismatic, therefore this is going to definitely be a very high capped game. 9 lives, something that would play into reroll comps, more like an Echo or Yasuo. However, these comps are not performing so well in the current meta, therefore the Augment has fallen out a little bit of a favor. Going long, we already have made 10, it's going to be more of a tempo Augment, and generally played around something like a Yordle or Bilgewater, but Yordle's not in the meta right now either. And it's an Augment that you generally see if you can top 3, top 4 with, unless you're going to get these super high cap staves, but in the encounterless Cuddle Puddle, you're going to be impeded even more. And Flexible is an Augment that is a little bit behind in the item tempo meta. Like, you are on par with a Prismatic Augment after really 3 stages. But it's something that we could establish direction with, therefore, as Dishsoap also has done here, he has defaulted to it right at the moment. We come up to Spoils of War, not going to get away with it in this lobby, we do not have a board to support it. Even though we have a clear item slam, we just do not have a board that would pair up with it right well, and in these high elo lobbies, you know they're going to be playing strongest board, you're not going to be capitalizing on it. Shimmer's Scale Essence, something that's great, particularly in something like a Yunara comp, but you do want to like a true star frontliner, or like at least a 3 cost for frontliner or something like a Mundo that can capitalize on gaining the extra resistances from the Mogul's Mail and proc it, then playing into some form of a champion that can proc the Gambler's Bait attack speeds procs, and we do not really have it right now. It would be a decent option, but I would believe we'd be looking for another form of econ, like a level up or a force mobility. Therefore, I believe we're going to be sticking here with the Flexible. Very unusual pick. We're scouting around, and this does establish it's a tricky bit here, because generally we had a clear direction path set for us. However, this Augment could have swayed us, and thankfully we got the Juggernaut Emblem, able to toss it on the Scion right away to unlock the LeBlanc, but we do see there's upward mobility player playing around already in Archangel's LeBlanc. Now, we do not want to be really contested on this line, because this is some form of line that you want to just stabilize on the bare minimum on level 8, and ideally you're uncontested, you're on Lysandros, and you have the Volibear to the duo carry to go with. And at that point we're going to have these extra items to hopefully support our frontline Volibear carry and a Invoker, with most likely in form of Lysandra, and make our way to level 9 to play around something like a Rise. Now we are able to also pick up a Caitlyn to unlock the Orianna right here. Unfortunately, we tossed that round, as I would assume we were looking to perhaps lose it, as we were executing to the weakest opponent. And coming up on our Piltover modules here. Now, these are not the greatest options. You're probably most likely first looking for Continuum Cogs, if we are playing into this AP. Getting that AP, getting that mana gen, Invoker's benefiting from the mana gen even more. Great. And then the Blast Shields just generally being strong by Augment. We're also going to be getting some max health extra on our team from this Flexible Augment that would synergize a bit quite well. Now, here we're probably looking to play into either Turn Oscillators if we were playing into some more of a standard Lysandra Seraphine board. However, we might also just go for Caliber Nets. Yeah, we're going to go for Caliber Nets. Reason being, in this current meta right now, they're very distinct solo carries and quite a few Titans users. This thing is going to if I'm most likely generally going to be proccing before the Titans goes off, and these hyper carries can be shut down early on through the Caliber nets, which is going to be better than Tactical Overload, which generally works into your backline access comps, and Tune Oscillators would have forced us to play into comps that use shows, playing around these Loruses and everything. Here we are going to remain open, as we do not exactly know what the Rexiler emblems might support, and the Juggernaut emblem not exactly playing into this kind of fashion, as Juggernauts are generally not benefiting from extra shields, right? Now, we are going to be picking up, I believe we picked up a tier? Yeah, we picked up another tier to play around. And we're going to hope to go for a blue buff slam. Now this is already signaling me that we are most likely going to be playing into some form of a rise board. This is our idea right now. And we're going to be hoping that with some extra emblems we are able to summon some form of a frontline core. Now we win here. We are on this alternate lose win, lose win. We're going to really want to close this out on at least on a 2 streak right now. Every little goal we can get. We do see there's a Deadlier Caps Veigar player that we hopefully queue into as they're fully open. But there is also an Ari right there that is would be quite scary for our front line. And another player that's at level 5. Now we queue into this Ari. Thankfully they do not really have a front line to support Poppy being a strong unit, but we have level to 5. And simply have a stronger frontline presence. Would have wished to win at least the 2-3 round, but this is going to suffice. Going to be hopefully now picking up some of the backline upgrades. Sticking on LeBlanc 1 is a... In the higher tempo lobby, she can fall off in the stage 3. Pick up a what seems to be a Striker's Flare Slam. Well, Striker's Flare and Spirit Visage, those are looking like the slams I would be making right away. Clear item direction, get a Freljord emblem. Now that plays into the Seraphine, sorry, but the Lysandra and Rise board probably quite well. We also have an Anivia that we could be looking to play around, but Orion is going to be stronger here. It's going to be able to slot in a Piltover or Piltover module through the use of the Loris. Getting some stun here, and now we see there's another player playing around a Orianna. Very prominent, just due to how strong she is in these stages 2 and 3. But thankfully, since we have now 3 item frontline sorted, 3 item LeBlanc, and the Caliber nets being generally beneficial right now, as we're definitely locking down the key targets are going to be quite strong. Now we rolled Golden Dragon right there right away. If we are playing for our ice board, we're going to want all the extra units we can get, and we have 3 item frontliner right now. We're playing in a high recon encounter. We're not going to want to be playing it right now. Again, one of the Augments that is actually very strong in something like a Yunara comp. Crimea River, I just feel like here is the better option. We have already killed the Booba, but we can just use infinite amount of tiers. We still don't have Shred sorted out. We have the mana gen to be able to... Invoker just benefiting from these extra mana gen. That is going to be kicking in if we are able to build as long as stall of the frontline, and it leaves us a open component that we can already play around in the next carousel. Spirit Link, something that would be great if perhaps came at 4-2, but at the moment it's going to be just a little bit behind the tempo, so I'd assume we're going to roll it and play around Crimea River right now. Just getting an extra form of items. Mess Hall, Augment is great in Yunara, Warwick, your Warwick boards. Perhaps even Slayers if you do not really have better options. So Slayer, there's lots of combat augments that Slayers can use, but not good for us, but therefore we are just looking for more items, getting some extra tempo on. We are on a 3 streak. If we're able to string at least together a couple of more wins, ideally even more, we should be able to play around in the going for fast 9. As it does look like the Lysandra is going to be quite contested, we might just even be trying to level fast 9 on a single copy of Lysandra, as we already mapped out the Freljord units. I'm able to pick up a LeBlanc too, so that definitely could let us just play off a single Lysandra, if even any. If it is going to end up being contested, we do not want to be stuck on level 8 with this comp at all. Our cap is going to be rise, and that's probably all we're thinking right now. So we want to be as strong as we can right now. And this LeBlanc 2 is definitely going to be enabling that for us. Queuing into another player with utmost ability, LeBlanc pair on their side. Going to be playing it a very similar line. I believe we should be able to win this. Yeah, even though they have the ramp on their side, we have form of a combat augments. And the extra failure then just synergizing nicely with this Scion, giving it some extra brief juice. Very nice clear pickings. Let's go to see how we're gonna link this board together. We also do have this open reforger, so if you're just going to end up with some garbage coming up, we can just reforge it, right? Going to go for a bow here to form a shred forest, most likely going to slam that right away. Going to aggressively push level 7 here, just a cheap level, 1 gold off, 5 streak, definitely worth it. Going to be opting to slam, put in a Freljord right now, definitely can make a very strong board. Positioning in a way that we get maximum value on our frontline units on form of HP, as we have the backline damage sorted. We are just currently lacking in the frontline. If our frontline falters, this LeBlanc can do anything, right? We do want to support her as much as we possible and be able to pick up a 6 streak here and also make 50 through just selling all the stuff we had on our bench. PP is at it again. Perfect plays from perfect player right away, adapting even though a little bit of a mess up at the start and trying to unlock the LeBlanc. Also able to high roll a Garen. Is it worth? As it's most likely, yeah. So we're going to transition the items to the Garen, as we do not have any upgraded frontliner. Going to drop the Piltover module, as that's not one of the stronger ones, and we do want to be able to hold down this 6 streak as the 3 gold carries over in the PvE round. So very important for us to streak right now, and definitely enables us to go to level 9 against a Veigar player that from Bensec that is extremely low on their lives. They're going to have to full send it on 4-1. Good sign for us that even though they got this early Veigar, they are not going to be capping out and hopefully not going for a 3-star 4 cost. Coasting around, if I believe I saw a big ass golem on there, and oh, it's a gold orb as well with a pan. Works out great for us, as we are going to be playing a festival. We do get a Slayer emblem. I think that's going to be a Realme 3 Forge. Into Ionia, we get another reforge that we can consider. Yeah, just get rid of it and get a Piltover. That's quite good. And we opted to reforge as well. We had a Freljord spot, so this could be one of the rare 7 Freljord games if we opt to go into Slam a Vow here on the Swain, just going to get some of that extra stun out of the way. Opted to also level to 8 right away to just continue our streak and make it level quite rich. And if you're able to pick up a win here, we have a real path of cruising to level 9 and perhaps even do it on 4-7 to unlock the Rise right away. On our last Augment, I already see Staffsmith. I think that's quite good. We have 2 backline item options. Those could be quite good. But we do not have the Volibear items either yet. So perhaps we might consider something like a Duo Q. Maybe high roll some of the 5 costs, because we can just play around so many 5 costs at this spawn. Healing Orbs, no. Not a combat Augment we will be particularly looking at right now. Not exactly strong for us right away. So we are going to pass upon the Staffsmith. That's an interesting option, since I think we could just use the Staffsmith items right away. We do not have anti-heal, I believe, either. So Morello would not be a dead item for us. Something like a Crown Guard would be the worst option, but I believe we could make use of it. But it's going to opt to prior the Duo, just get some more components to play around. At this moment, we could also consider Ascension. If we are running the 7 Freljord in the end, the Freljord emblem's stun. And we have a lot of health if we are able to get it on our board. And with the new Ascension, clocking in at 12%, it's actually a quite good Augment that you could definitely play around. So therefore, let's see. We're going to opt to pass it. And we have Jeweled Lotus, also a good to pick up. One of these Augments that scale exponentially as you hit more of your units. But we have a JG slammed right away. Not going to get any benefit, immediate value from it. Therefore, we are going to be playing for this Ascension. Very interesting picks. I probably would have slammed the Staffsmith right away, but hey, I'm here and PP is there, so let's see. Into the Fast 9 Void. Well, I would assume they're trying to push level 10 from Bintum, trying to get to the Baron, and we're also able to now, with the Scion having received, I believe, a little bit of extra stacks, finally unlocked Volibear coming next turn. We see that Lissandras have been pulled out of the pool, right? There's 3 players at least playing around Lissandra. Great read from Dishsoap. We have LeBlanc too. We have the HP lead. We have no need to be able to sitting here rolling. This upward ability player also has already made it to level 930 gold. So since we do not have the decom augment, we are the poorest, but we can make up for it in combat and through the streak gold. Already stringing together a 10 streak against all these players that have greeded up to this point. And on a fairly what seems to be a weaker board, but hey, everything just suits so nicely on this board together that it all just flows. This is the thing. Like, sometimes you play your games, you'll be thinking, oh, I would probably just be tossing all the rounds on this board from, well, perhaps people who have overrolled on 4-2. But if we just look at it, everything makes perfect sense that is on it. We have the emblems, we have the extra HP unlocked. We're going to push level 9 here and unlock Rise through form of a Targon already. We are playing constantly every turn. We have constantly improved our board, able to string this win streak together. Now we are leveling aggressively to ensure, and we identify, hey, we need a front line to support this LeBlanc. That is our way. And now that we are facing up against a Warwick 2, we are now going to be tossing around to a Death's Defiance Warwick, but we are working to unlock this Rise right now, and we have lots of room to grow. We can definitely now play around. Going to transition the Void Staff to the Rise as his Flarial ability, going to be able to spread it quite nicely. Most likely going to sit here for a little bit before we do our roll down. We are lower on the gold side. And are we looking to Sultan's 11th Flariord? I'm not so sure. This is also some cook on the other side from the Summertime. We're playing that T-Hex Freljord board. Hey, might be a little bit of limit testing going on in the scrims at some points, but still, as the best players in the world, whatever is their limit testing is perhaps sometimes is better than our best play. We do see there's another player who has made it to level 9, unlocked a Rise. We're also contested on that front. Now, how are we going to figure this out? Another Piltover emblem, so we could just get rid of this Vi completely and probably do so. When we finally find a finalist Sandra, they're going to slot in for our 7th Flarial. Also find a Zillion that could perhaps bring us also to level 10. Now we just get free Piltover, which is quite great. Also the sword can be played around for Volibear, most likely going to over TB. Right, so we have this Edge of Night. Therefore, even though Sterex's solo item is going to be better, hey, we have the survivability. Make this Volibear pump. Get a DB on him. And now there is definitely some cooking going on in this lobby. We saw a Zerath Veigar board. Again, something you do not see as much. But we are already closing into the top 4 purely from the HP we have saved. Now going to try to roll aggressively, hit some of these pairs, still looking for a Rise 2 again against the Warwick board. Our Volibear is able to get on the weak side, but will this Warwick tear through our fast Ascension kicking in? The extra modules have allowed us to stall. Like, this is another thing, the Ascension synergizes here with our nets, as the nets are going to delay their ramp. We are able to kick into the Ascension. So very well spotted play there. Yeah, so there is this this T-Hex Freljord board as well. Now against more of a standard Kaisa, the Fast 9 board from Bentham with AD Kaisa and the Ziggs. Let's see how I fare up against it. Able to get to the Ascension, and once we get to this Ascension, this Rise just obliterates the board. 11,000 damage from a single star Rise. Now given he does have quite good itemization going on right there, but still just absolutely obliterating it through the 7th Freljord, also being able to stall for us to get to that Ascension breakpoint. Sometimes that we just see these burst comps popping up everywhere. It's quite refreshing to see a stall comp for a change. All going to pick up a last Whisper to smash on that Volibear, get a little bit of, again, extra damage. And a very interesting board from the Summertimer with the 2-star T-Hex. Now our Volibear has gotten on the T-Hex and is going to start working to the backline, and we're able to stall long enough. Yeah, this is just the way, like, our board is able to stall so far long for us to get into Ascension, get into Crimea the River, to proccing that extra mana region. It's working out quite greatly, and we are almost on our way to top 2. This game is going to end around something like a 6-2 now, and we have just been able to carry all the way through Rise 1 just because of the pure combat power we have from the Augments, also holding on to an extra Reforger against another zone, against the zone player who are able to lose now, that also have made it their way to Volibear. Now that the players have died, we're able to finally pick up Alessandra too. Yeah, the Bentham when trying to win out with this Veigar double decap has stacked quite high. Also playing around that Zerath, enabling them to even constantly cap higher every round with the possibility of finding extra items from the Zerath charms. And we get a Defender emblem. Hey, we can use that. Just going to slosh that to the Braum. Quite lucky with our emblems. Get our anti-heal sorted. Just going to go for a BT on our Voldebear. Going to use that Lysandra as a support unit right now. Against the more standard Lizard, the Seraphim board from BB1. Again, once we get to this Ascension, these boards do not have any power against us. And as we have managed to sort our front line, the stuns from the Flarios, the nets, delaying it so much, and we're able to go to level 10 right now, where we will pick up the Braum. They'll probably go, yeah, the Zillion here, fitting in 4 Invoker, and now that we're only like, we're still running Rise 1, that's just going to be so strong with the current setup that we have. Against this Bintums, Shurima Vagar. Now they do have some anti-CC on their side, but we have managed to get to the Ascension, and this Volibear has made it to the backline against the Zerath, and he is able to close it out with the GA proc. Just an absolute masterclass played from Dishsoap. Something, a board that you don't see every day. He just goes in and makes it up on the fly, and master at pocket recognition, master at creating these synergistic boards where everything just makes sense in the end, and seeing the vision and seeing how do you get to that vision. I would like to thank you for watching, and I hope that you learned something new, as I definitely did from this game, and I wish to see you in the next one. Have a good one.